We have
Be quick.
Isabelle Leong from Astro AWANI here with us this morning for Front Page. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Isabelle.
Thank
How's
you.
it
Thank you for
going? I
having
see
me.
you're at the office already.
It's good. I am bright and early, 9 a.m. in the morning.
So you haven't had a chance to work from home at all?
No, we have not, because, well, we are on ground. Basically, I am at WTC, which is the satellite studio, where, basically, Awanians are separated into 3 different locations, which is, one is the usual office at Bukit Kawangan, and then we've got the satellite studio here, and then there's another team who is working from home. So yeah, we are based at the WTC, which is like the red zone. So we are out and about covering PKPDs and everything. Basically, we have been out since.
You're a frontliner too.
Yes, we are.
Thank you for bringing us the latest updates on everything. And today we're going to talk about this latest news that we've just read. It's hot right now. Senior Minister Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob actually criticized allegations by some NGO leaders who accused the Malaysian government of treating illegal immigrants inhumanely during this pandemic. Now, from your point of view, do you think our government has dealt fairly with illegal immigrants?
Well, in all honesty, right? I think yes and no, really, because some NGOs have called it inhumane, and while some say that the government is disregarding basic human rights of every individual, regardless of their documentation status. But while I agree that it was quite distasteful, because the detainment was done throughout during the holy month of Ramadan, where majority of the illegal immigrants, they are from Muslim communities. So I find it a bit unpleasant that it was done at that time. But it is understandable. It is understandable that those measures were necessary to curb COVID-19 outbreaks at that time. And well, to be fair, what Dato Sri Ismail Sabri said yesterday as well, the other day as well during his press conference, was that the illegal immigrants at depots or like detention centers, they are given adequate food and COVID tests are conducted on them. And perhaps with this detainment thing going on, that could, or perhaps it already has created this a culture of fear among the illegal immigrants. But well, from my understanding is that the illegal immigrants, they were given food, they were given adequate food, shelter, and they are also provided with a COVID test. And when they are tested positive, they are then sent to temporary makeshift hospitals for treatment, which is the MIAPs. But however, that could also potentially create a culture of fear among the illegal migrants, because well, now we need people to come forward for testings, right? But it potentially have maybe created fear among the illegal immigrants. But and also with those depots which are packed, and it's, in my opinion, I'm thinking that it could potentially also in a way help in spreading the virus, because besides the virus affecting the detainees at the detention centers, it could also spread to staff members and also immigration officers who are at the depots. Yes. So really something to ponder on. Does the detainment of illegal immigrants really make us safer? So yeah, that's the question there that I would like to ask the people. Is it really making us safer or otherwise?
All right, let's move on to our next article. This one has to do with migrant workers as well. The HR ministry has said that employers have to provide accommodations for their foreign workers. These are documented foreign workers, means legal migrant workers. What do you think about this move by the HR ministry? Should it have been done from way back then? Yeah.
Yes. Why now? Because what we know also is that this amendment, it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was done last year. but until now it's not been implemented. So it's definitely high time that, they decided that, to implement it. But well, then again, the act was prior to this, the act was, if I'm not mistaken, the act only covered accommodation and also housing for workers in the plantation more than 20 acres, and also to all sectors, to the workers. And funny thing is that the amendments which were supposed to come into force, which were supposed to be implemented literally in a well, the minister, the human resources minister, Datuk Sri M. Saravanan, said that, well, this is to give, this 3 months grace period is to give the employers the space to make necessary arrangements, but also concerns which are homes to migrant workers are actually hotbed for infectious diseases, not only for COVID-19, but also other infectious diseases like TB, tuberculosis. And so, to be honest, I think it is better to have it enforced earlier than later, or perhaps like enforced ages ago. But also worth noting that Saravanan did not give details of the amended act. For instance, what's the floor space, or like ratio of person per floor space, and etc. So he has not. There's no SOP. There's no detailed SOP on that. So I'm hoping that a more detailed SOP will be released very soon. So to allow employers to make the necessary preparations and also arrangements.
Exactly, because I mean, if we've seen across the causeway, the numbers of COVID infections over there skyrocketed because it showed that the little issues that they had with homes, or even where these migrant workers are staying,
dormitories.
And they actually showed how horrible things were over there. And this is Singapore. Being too vague, it's going to be an issue for us here, isn't it?
Yes, most definitely, because, well, it is an issue because, well, from the PKPDs that I've gone to at Selayang Baru, and also the enhanced MCO. So sorry, I've been so trapped in PKPD. Yep, it's the Malay term, isn't it? But
it's fine. Yes, we understand that.
I'm glad. Yay! But yeah, PKPD EMCO at Selayang Baru, at the Pusat Bandar Utama, and Pusat Bandar Utara, sorry, and all the EMCO places. I have seen the condominiums and the flats over there, and it's really run down. And I was told that maybe in one unit there are more than like 10 people staying there, and it's just a condominium. So I can't imagine like how exactly is the situation like over there.
So how will this work here in Malaysia? I mean, are they required to build special hostels like how they did in Singapore, or they're just going to be placed in some empty flat or some
rentals,
some area? Yeah.
As in, after the amended act has been, well, to be honest, I'm not too sure about that. But what I do know is that this will, in a way, impact the employers, because well it is a difficult time, isn't it? We have like a movement control order. It's difficult to go around, and many people are afraid to go out and do things. Basically, like I've got like relatives who are even slightly terrified to go to the supermarket or like to go to shopping malls to buy things. But
hey, that's me as well. Yeah.
Right. So it's like you don't want to have contact with anyone. So let alone like, doing property viewings and stuff like that during this time. So I think it will be a bit difficult for them to find a proper accommodations or proper housing to house their employees at this time. But well, like it or not, to be honest, they will have to go out, be brave, brave COVID-19. I hope nothing happens. No, of course not. But well, it is definitely something that has to be done, to curb the spread of COVID-19 pandemic as of now. Yeah.
But will this move sort of affect the prices of certain goods and services from these companies that employ legal foreign workers? because they have to take into account the accommodations for their workers now. Yeah.
Right. So one way or another, I'm guessing that it would. But from what I understand from this amended act is also that it is that the employers will be allowed to collect a rent or any charges to the accommodation, and apparently this can be done via deduction from the wages given to the employees or the workers. So
it's not free accommodation.
It's not exactly free accommodation. So from what I'm guessing is that unless what we can really do now is, if you don't want to provide accommodations, or if you don't want to look for accommodations, we are living in with 2020, this 2020, wawasan doplo and all that. So why can't we implement automation in operations? Well, automation will definitely cut costs, and there are actually a lot of ways to implement automation in their operations. For instance, last time, you will have your workers you will hire your workers to carry foreign workers, because three factors: because they are, like it or not, they are generally cheaper. They are able to work for long hours. They won't be renting or whining as much, and they are willing to carry, say, up to, if you were to get them to carry hundreds of kilos of fishes in boxes or bags of cement, etc. They're willing to do that because, they're thinking about their families at home. So what it is that now with automation, if they were to implement automation in their operation, they can easily move heavy boxes or buckets of cement using small hydraulic machines and forklifts that can easily carry containers up to, say, 200 kilograms, 300 kilograms. So with this small little tiny investment, I'm guessing that it can ease their burden and take away the requirement of having to hire more employees for a certain task. But of course, this only applies to does not apply to all sectors, because I'm not expecting restaurants
robots to serve us.
Exactly, robots to serve us. But there are cafes with robots. But I'm not sure. Are we ready for that? Well, perhaps we are. But yeah, I'm guessing automation is the way to go.
Let's get to our next article, your favorite one, Isabelle.
It is. Inside joke.
And it's an international news piece, which I guess we can also link it back to Malaysia. So Dominic Cummings, who's a chief advisor to Prime Minister Boris Johnson in the UK, he drove over 418 kilometers. That's like driving from KL to Singapore during the lockdown. And yet, Prime Minister Boris Johnson is refusing to take action against him. Why do you think that is so?
Well, before I get to that, so basically I've been doing a bit of a survey on Twitter and articles. I've been reading comments and reactions from the MPs, the MPs in the UK, and basically a vast majority of the Conservative MPs think that Dominic Cummings should offer his resignation actually, and shouldn't wait for Boris Johnson to sack him or to fire him. And the fact that Johnson defended his chief aide, and I quote, in his press conference a few days ago. He said, "I have concluded that in traveling to find the right kind of childcare at the moment when both Dominic Cummings and his wife were about to be incapacitated by coronavirus, but when he had no alternative. And I think he followed the instincts of every father and every parent." My question is, Dominic Cummings was following his instincts, right? While the rest of the country, the whole of England, the whole of UK, they were following rules. But Dominic Cummings was following his instincts, and he did nothing wrong. So are we now entitled to follow our instincts as well? Because my instincts is telling me that to go back to Ipoh to see my grandparents. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but I'm not going to do that because rules are rules. So what Johnson what Johnson has said, what Boris Johnson has said is that in a way he has shown that it's one rule for Westminster elites but another rule for the common people, because it's been dragging on for quite a few days now. But he has been, standing by Cummings. He has been supporting him, saying that he has done nothing wrong. And I mean, in Malaysia, we are also some sort grappling with almost the same problem as well, because many people, the netizens, especially on Twitter, they have highlighted that, there are people from the so-called cluster Kayangan who have had visits at their family members, who have visited their family members, and there are more than 20 of them, and they've taken photos and uploaded it on the social media. And so in Malaysia, we are also grappling with that. Is it one law for the elites, or so-called the cluster Kayangan, and another for ordinary people who are who are cluster Bumi like us? Well, then again, I am no expert, of course, but it is quite an interesting topic. But I'm also not a British political analyst, but could it be that Boris Johnson is actually a man with no ideas, and he's actually afraid to fire his ideas man? Because just for the record, right, Cummings actually became famous for leading the Brexit campaign. And he was also responsible for the famous, I'm not sure if you have seen this red bus seen traveling around in London with this huge slogan. If I'm not mistaken, it was, we send the EU 350 million pounds a week. Let's fund our NHS instead. So I see why Boris is standing by his top advisor who helped
the PR guy.
The Brexit campaign. Yes, the PR guy. But he is definitely standing by Dominic Cummings, who have helped him with the Brexit campaign. But is he winning the hearts of the people of the UK? I don't think so. For now, no.
Now, okay, because we don't want the hundreds and thousands of people to just follow their instinct as well, right? And go where their instinct takes them.
Exactly. So and the fact that he said he followed his fatherly instinct and he did whatever, he did everything that a parent would do. Well, you are a parent, so if would you follow your instinct?
No, I mean, if my spouse is already contracted COVID-19, I'd be doubly scared. I'll be isolating myself from everybody and not travel so far and bring my kids to their grandparents.
But all these are just excuses by the upper class, because in the Netherlands, the Prime Minister, Mark Rutte, did not see his dying mother until the very end because of COVID-19 restrictions.
Yes.
So that's leading by example, isn't it?
Correct. And that's definitely, it's well, I've also read that it might be it might cause the British people to go against the lockdown, because the damage to the public trust has been done. For the past few days, for the past week, Boris Johnson has been backing up or standing by his advisor, Dominic Cummings. But people across the UK have made so much sacrifices, have made the most agonizing choices to stay at home, not visit family members or relatives who were ill, who were dying, and they have made the decision not to go to funerals as well, or not to see their loved ones for the last time. So with Cummings still around as Johnson's aide, it has shown that, then again, I would like to highlight that it's really one rule for the elites, but another rule for the common people. But I am very, very sure that the British people are furious over Cummings' actions, and it definitely will cause some of them to reject or to go against 10 Downing Street's advice and guidance on staying at home and observing social distancing. And bear in mind also that if I'm not mistaken, schools will be reopened on June, maybe a few days away, and restrictions on movement will slowly be eased as England as they enter the second phase of the phase 2 of the lockdown exit. So the next few weeks will be the most crucial, will be the most fragile, will be the most delicate yet, as you know, official guidance will become more complex to prevent second wave of infections. And with this Dominic Cummings issue, you know, traveling miles and miles away to visit his parents and stuff, it will one way or another, it will impact the citizens of Britain.
Yeah. And I think this will also teach us here in Malaysia that there shouldn't be double standards when it comes to rules. Yeah.
Correct.
Everybody will have to adhere by the same rules.
Correct. Because no one is above the law at the end of the day.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to our final article. This one's quite funny because I read this article and like it had this picture of this book. You know how you have to write this book when you go in anywhere now, like restaurants or even shopping malls and things like that. And in this book, all the temperatures in there were like at 33, 34, 33, 32 degrees Celsius. And then there was one that was 29.
There we go.
There we go. Person walking right there.
It is because
this is quite ridiculous, isn't it? Like there's actually no proper control measure. There's and the people taking the temperature at these various establishments, they weren't told what the actual temperature should be. They weren't given proper training. So I mean, yes, they're following SOPs, but what does it do?
But the thing is, like, to be honest, this is one of my concerns as well, because there was this one day when my colleague and I, we were not allowed to enter a shopping mall in one of the shopping malls in KL because our temperature was 37.6. We were scanned 3 times and it was 37.6. And the same reading came up for the both of us, and I was like, wait, so my temperature is the same as yours? So what's going on? Well, we didn't end up going into the shopping mall, but what it is that like this temperature guns or like this thermometers, are they actually legit? Because I've also read another article where like it says that there are fake temperature guns around that is in market. So what it is that every time you scan someone, 37 degrees comes up. So people, I'm not sure why people are telling this. Is it a toy? Is it for fun? Because it's not funny. It's not a joke. Because we are in a crisis now. We can't be like, you know, joking around with this, because this is actually one of the measures that's being taken to whether to allow you in premises or otherwise. So I don't think that this should be taken lightly. But then again, I guess we have to play our part in making sure that our temperature readings are being taken accurately. Like I've also read another article where if the temperature gun is at your forehead, there's a range of temperature which will determine whether you have a fever or not. And if it were to be at your armpit or under your tongue, it'll be different. So what it is, it's like for business owners, my advice is that just please ensure that your infrared thermometers or your temperature guns are functioning properly, and also to calibrate them before using. Well, I've not had an experience like recalibrating or calibrating a thermometer before, but apparently that's what is being advised, to calibrate and calibrate the thermometers if they are dropped or have been used multiple times. And also definitely do not keep the knowledge to yourself. Please, spread it around, let your staff know, let them know, make sure that they are adequately trained to ensure that they know how to use the temperature guns, because they need
this
to know
comes
how
back to
calibrate.
SOPs also, doesn't it? I mean, from the government, shouldn't they say the temperature guns or the thermometers should be a certain brand that they have approved of? You should use only these sets because these are standardized throughout Malaysia.
Standardized throughout Malaysia. I think that's a very, very good point, JD, because yeah, I would say that it is quite important for that SOP to be implemented, because, well, anyone can get any temperature guns or any like thermometers, which is like on Lazada or like any of the online e-shopping platforms. So I think it is an interesting point to note that you know, maybe the government should really come up with an SOP to say, yeah, this is the set of brands that you can buy. Don't buy any other brands because we will not accept them. But then again, will that cause a surge in prices for those brands? Because people, opportunistic people during crisis, well, like it or not, they are there. I mean, they are around. So will they increase the prices of these thermometers because they know, okay, this brand is, you know, everyone is looking for
government
this brand,
approved, you know, right?
Yeah, it's government approved and everything. So are we, you know, this is the time for us to make profit? No, that's not the plan, because we're in a crisis. We have to stick together to curb, to beat this COVID-19. It's been around for a while.
There's also another rule which I find pretty ridiculous as well. My husband was out yesterday and he told me this. One lady in front of him. So it's a thermal camera, you see. It's not even the thermometer. She walked in front of the camera and it showed that she had a fever. She was red, 37.5. So the guard told her to come back into that spot again and try. 2 times, she was 37.6 that time. And then the third time she came back in, she was 37.4. She was in the yellow. And he let her in. So what, you give people chances to see whether or not they have fever before you let them in? So like, you know, do you test it 3 to 4 times until they have no fever, then you can let them go in, you know?
That's very true, Bel. Because, well, to be honest, right, I have actually experienced that as well, because, okay, from where I work, from my office, there's a shopping mall opposite my current office. So what it is like my colleagues and I will walk to the shopping mall to get food, to get lunch. So what it is like, because if we were to, I'm only guessing, I'm no scientist, I'm no doctor, I don't know how is it like, but I'm guessing if we were to walk under the hot sun when we arrive at the mall, at the entrance of the mall, so, you know, with the temperature, will our temperature increase at that time? Because I have actually experienced it, and I was like, wait, do I have a fever? Oh my goodness, I was a bit scared and a bit shocked.
Then you panic.
I panicked. I was like, oh my goodness, 37.6. Oh my. But the guard told me to, you know, step aside, maybe wait for a bit, maybe stand under the air conditioner for a bit, and then I got tested. I got scanned again, and it was fine. It was 37, and I was like, maybe it's the sun. But then again, I'm not sure. Well, with 37.5 and 37.4, that's not much difference though.
Yeah.
It is a 0.1.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, do you give chances to people so that they can... I don't understand why they give chances. Once you scan one time, if you're above 37.5, that means you are denied entry, you know, regardless of whether it was the sun or whether it is actual fever, because you'll never know unless you ask that person, do you feel feverish, you know? And if that person is out, they won't want to tell you that they feel sick, you know?
Of course, because they are there on a mission to get groceries, to get stuff, because they're only out maybe like once a week to get things. So yeah, I absolutely agree with that. That could potentially be another another point or another SOP to look at, definitely. Yeah.
So I think we still need to sort of refine all these SOPs as we go along, and there'll be new rules coming up, and and it should be on a website or in black and white at least.
Yes.
All these rules.
Yes, definitely. I think that, well, then again, are we actually saying that, you know, checking this checking measures at like shopping malls or like premises or like shops, is it in a way to help curb COVID-19? Well, in a way, I think for now I'm saying that eradicating is definitely impossible. But what I can say is that it can help prevent the transmission of COVID-19, but up to a certain extent. Well, because checking will it will uncover fever in some people, some not, because asymptomatic, right? So, however, it won't be able to catch all COVID-19 related fevers, but it also can't identify people who have the coronavirus but with no fever. What if like they only have a cough or like a sore throat? But they don't have fever. So how is that going to trace? So I think what is important is that at the end of the day, we have to play our part, which is to always bear in mind, maintain physical distance, observe social distancing, definitely maintain good personal hygiene, wash your hands frequently, use hand sanitizers and all that. So at the end of the day, I think it's our own. We have to be disciplined. We can't rely on other people, because at the end of the day, it's our own body. So yeah, I think so.
Right.